In today's video, I'm ranking some of the most popular protein bars on the market here in 2025. So if you want to know which protein bars might be the best for your goals, make sure you watch the video and hopefully I can answer that question for you. I'm going to be ranking them on a scale from 1 to 10 in regards to the taste and in regards to the macros, so the proteins, carbs, and fats. Now, the 8 bars that I'm going to review here that I have my notes on are all pretty solid to the point where I'd be totally fine if my clients were eating any of these bars. But I'm also gonna mention at the end a few bars that I see all the time that are really pretty bad and that I wouldn't prefer my clients be eating compared to these other 8 bars. And while they're all pretty decent, of course some are gonna be way better than others, and I'm gonna save the best for last, so make sure you watch the whole video. Let's kick it off with one of the most popular bars out there, the Quest bars. These might be around for the longest amount of time, and Quest is a pretty big company. There's some flavors that I've got that taste pretty good and others that taste like absolute shit. And remember, with me ranking these on taste, it's all about my personal preference. So I may not like certain bars that you actually like, and reverse. But for me, because it's really hit or miss with these ones, I rated the Quest bars a 6 out of 10 on taste. But as far as protein bars go, the macros are really solid, and there's very few bars that actually have better macros than the Quest bars. And you'll see there's a few bars that actually have pretty much the same macros as Quest. So for that reason, I gave Quest a 7 out of 10 on the macros because they're better than most, but there's still a few that are better. Now, speaking of bars that have the same macros or very similar to Quest, we've got the One bars. I would argue that these actually taste very similar to the Quest bars. I'm almost wondering if they have the same manufacturer because they're so similar. Because they have essentially the same macros as the Quest bars, I'm rating that a 7 out of 10 in regards to macros. And just for context, that's about 9 grams of fat, 25 carbs, and between 18 and 21 grams of protein per bar. Now, I also rated the One bars a 6 out of 10 in regards to taste because it's very similar from my experience. Some of them are really, really good, like the glazed donut one. I probably rate a 7.5 or 8 out of 10 in regards to taste, but I've had other One bars that taste like shit and were a 4 or a 5 out of 10. So they get to a 6 out of 10, but I'm actually gonna try this new one right here on camera. This is a Hershey's Cookies and Cream Special Edition bar. Hopefully it doesn't let me down. Let's give it a try. Wow, look at that. They've got like little chocolate chips or something in there. Let's give it a try. All right, not as hard as I was expecting. That's one of the better ones for sure. That taste that's a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. Let's move on to the Barebells bars. Now, these also have essentially the same macros as the One bars and the Quest bars, typically 8 to 10 grams of fat, about 18 to 21 grams of protein, and in the range of 20 to 25 grams of carbs. So Barebells also gets a 7 out of 10 in the macros category. For taste though, this is the first difference. I like the Barebells bars better than the One bars and better than the Quest bars. I think they're a little softer, a little more enjoyable. So I'm rating them a 7 out of 10 in regards to taste. So far, out of the 3 I've covered, I prefer the Barebells over the Quest and over the One bars, but they're all very, very similar. Let's move on to the Robert Irvine Fit Crunch bars. I get these at my grocery store, and the macros aren't quite as good as the ones I've just reviewed, but in my opinion, the taste is better, which makes sense, right? Like usually if it's gonna taste better, you're gonna sacrifice on the macros because there's gonna be more fats or more carbs and probably a little bit less protein. However, you'll see that's not the case with the #1 bar I have on this list. It's actually ranked the best in protein and in taste, so I'll get to that in just a few minutes. These Robert Irvine bars have 8 grams of fat, 16 carbs, so that's fewer than all the bars that I've shown you so far, but also the fewest amount of protein, which is 16 grams as well. So about 190 calories for the bar, 16 protein. Nothing terrible, but somewhere in the middle. So for the macros, the Fit Crunch bars get a 6 out of 10. However, the taste is ranked 2 on my list of these 8. So it's the second best tasting bar, and I rated it a 7.5 out of 10. This one is the mint chocolate chip flavored bar. Next, we have pure protein bars, which are ranked second on the list in regards to macros. The macros are really good, 21 grams of protein in most of these bars for only about 17 grams of carbs and 4.5 grams of fat. So that's like half the amount of fat as many of these other bars. But in my opinion, they're sacrificing on taste. These bars are noticeably smaller, so they've got to pack the protein into a smaller item. I've had, honestly, some flavors of these that taste like absolute shit and I've just thrown it away. And others, like the deluxe double chocolate one, which actually tastes pretty good. So overall, the taste is gonna be a 5 out of 10 and the macros are gonna be an 8 out of 10. Next up is the Built Bars. Now these have pretty good macros. The one that I'm pulling up here, the macros are only 3 grams of fat, 13 carbs, and 17 protein. So that's good on my list for a 7.5 out of 10 in regards to macros. However, the taste, I've only had these twice, and to be honest, they really sucked. Like the best thing I can describe is that they're so chewy and like it was hard to chew and actually get down. One of them, I took one bite and threw the rest out because it was that bad. But I vaguely remember hearing some other people say that they actually like them, so maybe give them a try because the macros are so good, but on my list, it's only a 2 out of 10 in regards to taste. If I can't even get it down, I'm not even a picky eater. If I can't even finish the food, then that's not good. Now, one bar I wanted to mention that I've never tried, so I'm not gonna rate it in regards to taste, but it's the Think protein bars that I think are relatively new, and they have the same macros or very similar as these One bars and as the Quest bars. They've got about 9 grams of fat, 20 grams of protein, 25 or so grams of carbs. So those macros would be pretty solid to have, but just beware because I know Think has a number of other bars and products that quite honestly have really horrible macros. So just make sure you're getting that one if you're looking for a really good protein bar. Now, last one is, I saved the best for last in this case. We've got the new David's protein bars here. You may have seen these on social media or on Amazon. I've been buying these on Amazon. They're not cheap. I think it's like 40 bucks for a box of 12. But then again, what is cheap these days, right? I'm paying $22 for my burrito bowl at Chipotle. These are legitimately the protein bar with the best macros of all time. So much so, the macros are so good that I've been skeptical as to if it's the honest truth. And that's because they also taste really solid. Like in my opinion, they taste better than all the other bars I've mentioned, which doesn't exactly align, right? Like I said before, if the bar is gonna taste really good, usually you're gonna be sacrificing the macros. So is it too good to be true or is it real? Obviously, we can't just assume that they're not telling the truth, right? I'm gonna assume that what they say on the label is honest. And that's why I've continued to buy them, because there's 28 grams of protein in one of these bars, which is a large percentage higher than everything else. There's only 14 grams of carbs and there's only 2 grams of fat. Somehow they don't taste like shit. They're actually an 8 out of 10 in regards to taste. This is the salted peanut butter bar. I've got the peanut butter chocolate chunk flavor, which tastes really good. I've tried the blueberry pie one, which was one of my favorites. I've had the cake batter one, which wasn't my favorite. And I've had, I think there was a chocolate chip cookie dough as well that I tried, which was okay, but I like these peanut butter ones the best. Now, because the macros are so good, they're gonna get a 10 out of 10 on the macros, just because there's never been a bar with macros this good. This is similar to the macros of a scoop of protein or 2 scoops of protein. And protein bars have never in the history of humans been as macro friendly as protein powder. This is the first bar that literally can do that. I feel like I'm running an advertisement for these things, but I'm not sponsored by any of these bars. There's no affiliate links listed for you to purchase any of these products. None of these companies are giving me any money or incentives to promote any of these products. Like I've told you, like some of them taste like shit, some of them are okay, some of them are good. These are the products that I often recommend to clients when they ask, hey, what's a good protein bar? So there's my list of ranking the taste and the macros of some of the most popular protein bars. But like I said at the beginning, there's some bars that really aren't that good because of the macros. You may have seen these Power Crunch bars out there. I haven't tried them simply because the macros aren't very good, and I'm not gonna buy a bar that doesn't have that great macros. Same with the RX bars, right? They really market these incredibly well. It only has 4 ingredients. You know, the ingredients are an egg white, a peanut, like, you know, they're very good about telling you that it's healthy, which is fine, that may be true, but the macros absolutely suck. So if I wanna be healthy, I'll go eat whole foods and not a little bar that's in a package. But if I'm eating a little bar, it's because I need the convenience. Maybe I wanna get in some extra protein without having to cook something. And the RX bars, just way too much fat for very little protein, and the macros just suck, sorry. I've just seen these Go Macro bars, which are, I've never really seen them before, but it seems like they're using the term macro. Sometimes companies use these buzzwords on the package. You'll see keto on a package. You'll see, you know, in this case, macro on a package. The truth is the macros are bad on this bar, right? It's ironic. Like, if you're gonna name a bar Go Macro, make the macros good. Same with these Perfect bars. I've tried these before. They actually taste good, and they should, because they've got a ton of fat, a ton of carbs, and much lower protein than any of these other bars I've showed you. Same with Kind bars. There's so many different Kind bars out there. They all have pretty shit macros. So yeah, these are just a few bars that, again, there's nothing wrong if you eat them. Just know that the macros are gonna be pretty bad compared to a lot of these that we just talked about. Comment down below if there's any bars you'd like me to review or comment or research and give you my feedback on, as far as how the macros are, or if I've ever tasted them. And I'd be happy to give some insight on any of the foods or products or supplements that you are interested in hearing about. Thank you so much for watching. If the video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, because I make new videos just like this every single week. And if you did like this video, you might like this one over here as well, which I'll leave right in the corner for you, and I'll catch you right over there.